Yo guys, welcome to another episode. If you enjoy marketing and business content, then I want to encourage you to like and subscribe to this channel, and maybe even click the notification bell to be notified about more content like this. I really want to focus this year on creating content around how to build a better business. And I really believe that if you're in the business space, if you have your own business or want to start your own business, or if you want to learn more on how marketing can help you grow a business, then I truly believe that this will be the channel for you. And if it's not, tell me what I can add so that it can be the channel for you. I really enjoy creating content and just want to share what I've learned over the course of the last 10 years or so. So in this video today, I want to talk about the 3 warning signs that you need to look out for that will indicate that your business is most likely going to fail, or most likely going to have a very tough time surviving. That's today's video. All right, so let's just dive straight into it, shall we? The first warning sign, one of the things that we've noticed is that a lot of brands have a very long cash conversion cycle. So, Jandre, what is a cash conversion cycle? It's basically, how long it takes you to put cash into stock and then get that money back out of the stock and into the bottom line of your business, really, if you think about it. So the first thing that you need to look out for, the first warning sign, is that you have a very long cash conversion cycle. Now, Jandre, what is a cash conversion cycle? What the hell does that mean? And why do you use business lingo? Well, I mean, that's just what we call it. But in a nutshell, it's really just how much time it takes for you to put money into stock and get that money back into the business so that you can put profit aside and reinvest into new stock and grow. That's really just a simple way of looking at it. And a lot of businesses have a long conversion cycle because they don't know how to shorten it. And the reason you want a short cycle is because you can grow so much quicker if you do, because cash is king. Without cash, you can't buy anything, right? So if you don't have cash in the bank account, you might end up closing your doors because cash is the oxygen of a business. So you don't want to suffocate the business by having a long cash conversion cycle. And what that alludes to is you just taking a very long time to get your investment back. So the quicker you can get the money back from the initial investment, the quicker you can reinvest into growing the second and the third and the fourth round of stock, because every round will give you more profit, right? So in that nutshell, there's 4 things that obviously pop up into a conversion cycle. So it's the inventory, the stuff that you buy that you want to sell, then the receivables, the actual people that you invoice in exchange for the stock. So if you're selling to a wholesaler or retailer. So under one of our brands, under the VA Capital division, we have a company called Loop Nutrition. And at first we just started online, but we got into Clicks very early on because of certain relationships that we've had, thanks to our partner, who's majority shareholder. And what Clicks would say is like, guys, we're going to give you a 90-day payment terms, which means that we need to give them the stock, but they're going to pay us back in 90 days. I think we got it down to 60, and hopefully we can negotiate in the future to get it down to 30 days. But the reason 90 days sucks for a business owner is because the moment Click says, hey, we want 2 million rands worth of stock, we basically need to go get 2 million rand to get that stock. But we're only going to get the 2.5 or 3 million rand, depending on your margins, for back from Clicks in 90 days. So people go, but that's cool. Like, I mean, you're going to make a ton of profit on that. Cool. But in month 2, Clicks go, hey, we're out of stock. We need another 3 million now because you're growing. Now you're 5 million in the red. And then in month 3, before they pay you, you go, listen, we need another 5 million. Or now you need another 2 million just to top up some orders. So now you've got 2 plus 3 plus 2. It's 7 million in the red. And then after 90 days, you get your first 3 million. Now you're 4 million down still, because essentially the 3 million that they paid you in terms of, profit on top of the product, whatever. Now you've got your 3 million, great, but you're still 4 million down. And then they order again. And you can see how you can quickly go backwards if you don't, negotiate better payment terms or find ways to offset the risk of the loans that you're taking. So basically what it comes down to is that you want to shorten the time it takes you to buy stock and get money back from the wholesaler, retailer you're selling to. The nice thing about online is that you get that cash back quite quickly. But if you've got a payment merchant, it might, take a week to get that money out. I know certain platforms like PayJustNow can, go up to 30 days unless you negotiate. So cash conversion cycle is applicable for most businesses, but it's very heavy on businesses selling to retailers. Um, so inventory, what you need in order to make money, because you're not going to make money if you don't have stock. People need to buy the stock in order to give you money. Then it takes time to obviously get the cash receivables. So it's what we call receivables. So you've got 3 million in receivables, but it's not in cash yet because you have to wait for it. And then you have to pay people. So remember, whilst you doing this, buying of stock and giving it to retailers, you still have to pay everybody on the side that helps you build the brand, continues to help you run the brand. So this goes from marketing agencies to, people who's picking and packing, warehouse staff, rent, etc. So this is something that just kills people. If this cash conversion cycle, the cycle, and again, like I said, the money you're putting in versus when you're getting it out, if that's really long and drawn out, then it's going to be tough building the business because you're going to run out of cash. So you need to be cognizant. So there are a couple of ways that you can go about improving this. And the first thing is just streamlining your inventory management. And what I mean by that is, and this is mainly for businesses who manufacture their own and buy their own products, is that a lot of people have just a wide range of products, but not all of them really sell well. So what happens is they have all this capital stuck in products that are not really moving. So what you need to do is you need to try and find a way to simplify your product offering, right? Focus on the products that are actually selling and try and get creative in getting rid of the products that are basically not selling, whether it's a discount or because it's just cash sitting there that you have to get back as quickly as possible, right? So streamlining your inventory management is basically, it includes getting systems and software that can tell you how much stock is left. It touches on forecasting to an extent and all these different things. So I'm bouncing a little bit all over the show, but in terms of simplifying, it's just focusing on what's actually moving the needle. So put your money and time into the products that mainly sell. And a lot of people, especially creative entrepreneurs, they go, oh, we can get this product and that product, and we can do this pattern and that pattern, or we can do this kind of item. And that's all good and well, but it all might actually just complicate the time it takes to get cash back into the business. And the idea is to put cash into the things that we know are going to sell and try and market that in order to get the money back so that we can keep growing the business. And once we've got money on the side, money that you don't desperately need, you can get creative with all these other things. And this touches on focusing on the 80-20 principle, really. Like 80-20 principle, we've seen it in so many businesses, is that 20% of your product justify or creates about 80% of the revenue. And what you want to do is try and get rid of the stock that's not moving by promotions and giveaways and contests or whatever you want to do with discounts, added value, and focus on putting that cash that you're getting back onto the products that are actually making you money, the high margin products, for example. And this is what I was alluding to, is move dead stock with promotions, giveaway, contests, added value, discounts, whatever you want. Give it to influencers for content creation, for the brand specifically, or something like that. It's just do something in order to get that cash back from that stock. And I think you should also just spend time as a business owner on forecasting. Spend time on forecasting what the next 3 months are going to look like, and take into consideration seasons. Certain nutrition brands struggle in winter. Not struggle, but they do less. And naturally, you're going to do more in summer because everybody wants to get in shape for the beach and look good. And, they're going to wear less clothes, essentially. And people want to look good when they wear less clothes. They want to be less body conscious. So more people are going to spend money on healthy nutrition, supplements, food, and so forth. So you need to understand how seasons really affect your revenue, and you then need to budget accordingly for those types. And the second thing you can do is optimize accounts receivable. So we spoke about clicks, right, as an example. This could be any other retailer, discount, whatever. But the point is that you need to give stock to the retailer and you want to give money back as quickly as possible. And you need to now optimize how quickly you can get money back. So can you potentially offer a discount for early payments to encourage cash flow coming in? So you can say, listen, so they might say, cool, thank you for the products. And, we have 60-day payment terms. So what you can do is go, listen, I know you've got 60-day payment terms, but what if I gave you 5% discount if you settle in 30 days? So they might go, cool, we actually have cash to spend, so we'll happily, give you that cash in 30 days as opposed to 60, and they get a 5% discount. And that 5% could potentially benefit them. You might sit there and go, well, I don't want to eat into our margins. But this is also why you need products with healthy margins, because it allows you to get creative with how you get cash back into the business. And if you don't have high margins or decent margins at least, then you can't do stuff like this, which means you basically just working with one hand behind your back. So high margin products and finding profitable products is just always smart in all kinds of ways when it comes to business. But bottom line here is that you can deduct 5%. I can promise you that 5% that you're losing on that day of the transaction will be a drop in the ocean compared to how much more you can do with that money when it comes to actually building the business. You can put that money back into a new stock or new initiatives or marketing, or maybe hire new team members, whatever it is. Again, if that cash cycle then just becomes a problem. Something else you can do under optimizing accounts receivable is consider just cash up front. I remember working at a company called Chrome Supplements and Accessories. They bought my first initial business, which was a health and fitness portal. And, when I asked them, they were like, we only do cash on delivery. I was like, well, shit, there's a lot of people who might not like that. And they went, well, for wholesale, for the people that we sell to, we've just seen that we lose more money by not offering cash upfront. And they just said, well, if you want to buy from us, cash upfront. Unless you are an established business and unless they trust the business owner, you can do maybe a bit of a credit score system. You can maybe just do some risk mitigation exercises in order to determine if this is someone you can open up a line of credit to or do a payment terms agreement with. But if you can, especially smaller businesses, I'd say cash up front if you can, and normally, they'd be okay with it if they really want the product. This is why you should just have the best products in the market and try and market them as if they are the best as well, because then that person asking for the product would happily or would be more open to pay cash up front because they really want the product, because people coming into the stores asking for that product. So having a strong brand can obviously, help you negotiate things around the accounts receivable. Then lastly is just consider setup fees or deposits. This is more for service-based businesses. I think, when we started our agency, initially we didn't have setup fees. And then we realized like a lot of people take advantage. And just by including setup fees alone, that helped our profitability a lot. Back then we were signing, let's say 3 clients a month or whatever. Now, if you charge $5,000 the setup fee, that's already $15,000 extra. Now over a year, that becomes 15 times 12. That's already almost $200,000. So now you've got an extra $200,000 revenue for the year for doing basically the same amount of work. But obviously the fees needs to be justified. You can't just go like charge setup fees if you're not actually setting anything up. That's something else you can do for risk mitigation purposes is deposits. And say, listen, we'll pay 50% of the stock now and get our 50% of the stock, a month later. So there's obviously ways that you can negotiate in order to shorten that cash conversion cycle. Now, getting to warning sign number 2, and this is, quite obvious, but I think a lot of people ignore this. It's not so much that this is something innovative, like, oh, wow, I never thought of that. It's just that people see this, but they do nothing about it. And that is that profit margins are shrinking. So the moment your profit margins are shrinking, you should know that you're moving backwards because less profit means less oxygen, and you're basically suffocating the business, and you need to do something about it. So the first thing you need to do is reconsider the price of your products. So ask yourself, when is the last time that you really considered increasing the price? If you're doing it yearly, then cool, that's fine. Then you need to look at something else to fix. But if you haven't upped your prices in at least 2 years or so, then I think it's time that you relook at that. Now, a lot of people might say, hey, that is very difficult to do in a price-sensitive market, and I agree. But in essence, everybody else is doing it. I think about it, like prices on Takealot goes up, prices in China goes up. No matter where you buy from, prices are going up everywhere. Like petrol price goes up. So I have seen that 90% of the time people don't increase their price, not because of the market that doesn't want to pay the price. It's more about the business owner's fear, thinking the market won't pay that price. That makes sense. And I think that's the biggest thing holding people back is the fear of increasing the price of the product, as opposed to actually increasing the price of the product. You can always drop it back, man. Like, it's not the end of the world, just put it up and then do a discount or something. And then be like, yo, we're offering this discount now, and then run it as an evergreen, or use it as a creative way to get people excited about the fact that you've dropped your prices again and we're like, listen, we upped our prices, but now we decided we're going to keep it at a lower price for you because we love you and we want to take care of you. And hopefully you want to take care of us too. So there's nothing wrong with increasing your price. And if it doesn't work, you can always drop it again. But I think a lot of people are just scared of increasing their price and therefore they never actually do it. And don't be one of those people. The other thing is, if you want to increase your prices, I think start with your top 20% of products that people love, right? The people who are buying those products are most likely loving it and enjoying it. Now it's just a matter of, and when it comes to price increases, I don't mean double the product price. I'm saying do it in terms of inflation, like 6%, 7%, 10%, whatever it boils down to. Don't go balls to the wall. I'm not saying you have to double the price. I'm just saying keep at least in line with inflation if you can. So if you don't know what to do, the point is to increase the price of the products that don't sell. This is quite logical at the end of the day, because if people are buying, your top 20%, then that's essentially the products that you need to increase the price on, because it's the products that's making you revenue. There's no point in trying to increase the products or prices that nobody is buying. Nobody's buying them now. Trust me, they're not going to buy it because you're increasing the price either. So long story short, reconsider your pricing. Don't be too aggressive, but just stick to inflation. Don't be scared. You can always drop it back and focus on the top 20% of your products and give it a test with that. And then just focus on improving your marketing strategies for the top selling products, like the high margin products specifically. So if you, within that top 20%, let's say you've got 15 products. In that 15 products, that range, you most likely have 4 or 5 products that are really, really profitable. So ask yourself, is there anything that you can do to sell more of that product? Because if you do sell more of that product, you're going to make more profit overall. That's just something to consider as well. And then another warning sign, in terms of the profit margins are shrinking. So another thing you can do when it comes to the fact that your profit margins might be shrinking is relook your expenses, guys. So you need to add a little bit to the price. So there's a little bit more oxygen coming in, profit coming in. Then at the same time, you need to look at what can you cut in terms of expenses that can help you make a little bit more profit. I think it's Warren Buffett that said a penny saved is a penny earned. And that's so true. And what you need to do is look at the expenses that are not driving revenue. So often, time goes by, 3, 4, 5, 6 months later, then you realize, holy shit, I've never really looked at my expenses in the last 6 or 7 months. And then you start to see how many expenses you've racked up that is not generating revenue. And that's what you want. You want expenses that's generating revenue, right? You want money on spend money on marketing. You want to spend money on an agency, at least the correct agency, hopefully. If it's not going to be an agency, it's going to be an own internal team, but that's an asset. It's people that can make you money. So often people start to cut expenses that's not making their money, and they keep the expenses that's not making their money. How is that logical? I mean, think about it. It's only logical that your business is not going to survive because you're cutting all the expenses that's making you money, and you're keeping the expenses that's not making you money, which means you're going to make less money. I mean, it sounds so simple, but yet people don't focus and don't do these things. And they do all the wrong things because they don't think logically, they think emotionally, which is a whole conversation on its own. Also look at cutting the nice to haves. Sometimes people live above their means. So are you a business owner that lives above your means? Or are you trying to keep up with the Joneses? Just don't buy shit you don't need. Focus on what you really need, and you'll be surprised how little you actually need at the end of the day. If you've got a family, kids, completely understand. But if you don't, you realize you don't need much. It's just you don't need much. And then lastly, understand what's affecting your profitability. I think a lot of people look at their balance statement, the balance sheet, their financial statement, and they go, made 50,000 Rand loss last month, or 10,000 Rand loss, or 100,000 Rand loss. I mean, we've seen businesses run at 2, 3, 4, 5, 600,000 Rand loss a month. And then it's like, we need to cut all these expenses. Cool, great, do that. But at the same time, also start looking into what's affecting the profitability. What's actually causing you to lose profit? What's causing you to have all these inflated expenses? And usually it boils down to 3 things. It's very bad marketing. Marketing is just not generating revenue. The job of marketing is to help generate revenue. Now the question is it actually doing that? And to what extent is it doing that? Then what happens sometimes as well is they just have very low margin products. It's a problem. So you need to try and fix that. Now, if your product margins are low, then you are suffocating your business. So you just start innovating around how you're going to improve those margins. Can you buy in bulk in order to improve the actual price of each unit? Because usually when you buy in bulk, you get a discount, stuff like that. Maybe there's other products that you can incorporate that you can start selling that's high margin. And then lastly, do you have inflated payroll? There's many other reasons why you could be bleeding money, but these are usually the three things: low margin products, bad marketing, inflated payroll. If you can tick the boxes on those three, and if it is ticked, then I do believe that you can turn things around at the end of the day. Right, and that brings us to the last part of the video, which is basically warning sign number 3, and that is that there's been no product or offer innovation, I'd say in the last 12 months. I didn't put a time frame there because it's different for everybody, but I'd say like if you haven't really considered innovating your product or offering in the last 12 months, then that's a warning sign. Bells should be going off, red flags, because innovation is really crucial. Because I've realized, and I didn't want to accept this for a long time, but the only way to survive is to keep focusing on growth. There was a time in the business when I think we were like 15, 20, even 50, just under 20 people. And I said to myself, okay, this is enough stress. Like, I'm taking care of all the people, doing the best we can. I don't want more stress. So I'm just going to try and chill here with the business. So me and my partner and the Exco team were like, cool, we're just going to ease here for a little bit and we can take care of the people that we have. And then I realized that's not going to work because essentially we just stagnate. We didn't go on the offense. We were playing defense. And when you're playing defense, your mentality goes defense. Everything around you starts to go defense. And it's funny, like the market keeps changing. So you can play defense all you want, but the market is going to change. And the only way to grow is to innovate and adapt and fall into what the market wants and to consider, the trends and to consider where things are going and to try and have some foresight on what things will look like the next 6 months and how you can best benefit your customer within 6 months from now. And I think a lot of people don't really think about that. They just go, I'm happy here, I'm going to chill here, because we don't want to take on more risk. A lot of people are risk adverse. But if you're a business owner, the only way to survive is to focus on growth until you sell. And the point is to build an asset, right? I mean, so many business owners build prisons as opposed to assets for themselves. But the point is that the only way to survive is to grow. And if that's, not making the money that you want to, then you need to fix the business. And if you get to a point where you don't want to take on more risk, then you should know it's only a matter of time before you are going to move backwards. And hopefully you're building something that's valuable that you can actually sell one day so that you can be in a position to go, okay, cool, now I've gotten what I needed out of the business financially. And now it's like a kind of like a retirement plan or whatever. But it'll never happen if you don't actually build something valuable. And the only way to do that is to keep innovating and to stay relevant. So it's actually valuable for the investor who wants to buy it. Nobody wants to buy an outdated business that's going nowhere. Very few people want to do that. So you have to focus on growth. That's the only way. Is you have to keep innovating, have to keep pushing. You have to take on more risk. Otherwise, you're just not going to go anywhere, and you will go backwards. And don't think what's working today will work tomorrow. That's a big mistake. What's gotten you to where you are now is not what is going to get you to the next level. Number one, first lesson I've learned in business. Second thing is what's working today is not going to work tomorrow. Just be okay with it. The only constant is change in business, and that's how it is. It's not the end of the world. It's fun, really exciting, and keeps you on your toes. So hopefully it's something that you enjoy doing. And then lastly, it's don't distance yourself too far from the customer. Because remember, it's all about serving the customer. And a lot of business owners, get so far out of the business that they actually don't know what the customers want anymore. And, they depend on other people to tell them what to do. That's cool. Nothing wrong with that. But if you are the person with all the creative fire and all the passion that actually created this business in the first place, I'd suggest that you always keep your finger on the pulse of what customers want. Don't distance yourself too far. There's Tesla, there's Elon Musk, who's CEO of 4 companies. So in extent, like he's only got so much time. So in essence, he's very distant from what's happening in the business operationally, but he's not distant from the customer. Like he's on Twitter replying and looking at threads and literally replying to people's queries and ideas and stuff like that. So he's keeping his finger on the pulse on what people want. And so should you as a business owner, if you want to stay relevant and keep innovating and keep growing. So don't get too fancy. And I think that's it. The video was a bit longer than I anticipated, but I hope there was value in it. And again, I want to say that If you enjoy marketing and business content, then please like and subscribe. Maybe click the notification bell if you want to be notified, obviously, about more things like this. If you don't, it's all good. No offense taken. But I hope there was some value in it for you today. I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.